Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is your local Problematic Leo back with another very casual, yet somehow also very in-depth installment of Dress to Kill. Now, this one is going to be like the full Gauss wardrobe, specifically because of the fact that I got Gauss Prime, I tossed in an Umbra Forma, did an Aura Forma, like I went and did all the hoops. So I figured I would go ahead and purchase up all of his customization slots as well. I think I've only ever done this with Miss Tatiana Prime and also with Mr. Loki Prime. So this is like, I don't know, like top tier fashion here. Well, at least in my books, just for me. Like this is, I'm not saying that this is the best, I'm just, let's just jump into the rest of the video. Now, if you guys enjoy what you're seeing right here, I actually went a little bit more in depth into this look in my previous video, which I'll try to toss up in the cards up there for the Gauss Prime access, where we take a look at all of the different stat changes, the weapon stat changes, and like armor and Sayandana and shit. We're just going to be taking a look at the looks today. So if you want more details on that, be sure to take a look at the previous video, but the customizations for this look, as well as all of the other looks, are also going to be down in the description box. So if you're just looking for the codes, they are going to be there. And for anybody who's new and needs a little explanation about the rows and columns thing, let's do that real quick. So a row is anything that goes across. So if I say R3, this is the third one in the first row. And then columns are like up and down. So if I say it's number 18, it's going to be this one down here, okay? Just so that the new people are on track. So let's go ahead and take a final look at this look. And keep in mind, for the other ones that we're going to be taking a look at today, I did kind of strip some of the prime armors down so that we could explore some other armor combinations on them. So let's go ahead and just jump straight into that. So I'm going to be honest with you. Legitimately, after I finished putting out the other video and I started doing some leveling, I was like, okay, I want to come up with something very soft and kind of ethereal. And then I went ahead and put together this look and I was like, yo, I'm really feeling this one. I'm really into it. I kind of warmed up the golds a little bit so they are a little bit more of a rosier gold. There's like the rose gold, which is like a gold with like a little hint of the rose in it. This swings a little bit more into like the peachy copperier version of that rose gold. I also did that trick that I did yesterday in the previous look where I kind of skewed the tones slightly different. You can actually see them right above my head right here, where they're not quite the same tone, but they're a variation so that you get a little bit more depth. And then when it came to the energy colors, I just wanted to do something a little bit softer and more ethereal, almost like a winter stag. Do you see the concept? Winter stag is where we're going with this concept. Let's take a look at the red line real quick. Oh, beautiful. I love me some red line. And let's go ahead and slap on an armor set here. Now, for this specific armor set, I did want to have a quick chat about it because of the fact that I'm going to go more in depth into the other armor sets in there, but I just felt like the rose gold looked so good. Well, not the rose gold. The rosier gold looked really good on this one. Someone made a comment on my video yesterday that they were proud that I actually went ahead and used the search bar to find the armor like a grown human being. But the reality is when I film these videos, I don't actually remember what the armors are always called. So that's why you just see me scrolling and sometimes scroll right past it, mainly because of the fact that I'm like, oh shit, what was it called again? Now, one of the things that I do when it comes down to like selecting armor sets, I don't necessarily love an armor set that completely takes over the look, but when I look for armors, I look more for things that are going to give a different silhouette. And this is one of those ones that I was like, I was kind of really into it. Actually, this is going to sound weird. I saw the feet part first, and I was like, ooh, I really like how those work on the feet part. Mainly because of the fact that they're kind of like these little bricks and they're kind of flat, and it's almost kind of like shin guards. So this is like the bulkiest variation that I enjoy on Gauss Prime, because I mean, he's supposed to be agile, he's supposed to be quick, but this kind of gives me like linebacker feelings. And you know how you slam into walls a lot? Well, I slam into walls a lot when I'm using Gauss Prime. So a part of me was like, oh, well, this is just protection from my own idiocy. But if you did want to create a different silhouette with Mr. Gauss, I definitely feel like this is a good way to go, especially because I think it pulls from a lot of the different metallics that are going on with him, and it doesn't distract too much. However, you know, just because we're here, we're going to go ahead and take a look at how it looks like with the DOP Prime armor that he comes along with. And this is actually going to feed into the next look that I'm kind of sort of excited about, but we'll chat about. Ooh, and I have to put the ephemera on too. So I had to split up I have this thing where it's like I don't want to put the same ephemera on the same frame over and over and over. I kind of want to mix it up just a little bit. So that is what I ended up doing. I believe the previous one had there was that 3-phase I don't know what it's called. This is Protovire or something like that. I'm just making up names at this point. But legitimately, that is kind of, that's why I have to search up things one by one, because I'm like, I don't remember what it's actually called. You guys know that I'm very, very bad with the names. Just like I'm very, very bad with finding the DOP. I'll do it one for you guys. I'll do one. There you go. So that is how that actually looks with this armor set, and I absolutely love it. For this one, I did end up going with the Seraphier. Protovire. See, I wasn't very off, but the Seraphier one, just because I did like how kind of smoky and kind of like ethereal it gets. But let's go ahead and take a look at how he looks in look C. So this one, I went a little bit darker. Of course, the colors are still very soft, but I actually fell in love with the kind of khaki tone that was going on with the rest of these, and I really wanted to go with a burnt copper. You can already see the ephemera because the concept was there. As I was looking through yesterday's comments, everybody was talking about how he looked like certain animals, and one of them was like a jackal. And I was like, well, a jackal is kind of like a fox. Like, they're both vulpine, lupine. There's some sort of, they're in there. And then so I just felt like this really pretty sage metallic, which is technically like a patinaed copper. I don't know how accurate. No, I think copper patinas to something like that. So I figured because it's like green and kind of like this kind of khaki with this deep dark brown in there, it'd be almost like foresty themed. So I really wanted to kind of like lean into that maybe slightly kitsune look. Now, we're going to go ahead and discuss the different armors now, because for me, this is one of those things like I was talking about earlier, which armors did I actually really enjoy on this Warframe. I really did like, I liked the Dex armors, but I did not like the Dex shoulder armors. So keep that in mind. The chest piece looks really nice. So maybe you can combine that with some other different types of armors. As usual, the Agito looks pretty good. It's passable. It's not my most favorite thing on earth, but it works, you know what I mean? Was there anything else? I like the Imugi. So, like we were talking about real quick, we were talking about different silhouettes. For me, I really, really enjoyed how this set specifically changed, like, the shape of the Warframe. I don't necessarily love it, like I said, like with certain types, like the Mucilabur, I tried that one out and I was like, that just takes over way too much. So whenever you see a Warframe and you just see armor, that for me is like, I don't particularly love it. It's kind of a bit of a turnoff because I want to see the armor on the Warframe. I want to see what it looks like when the two mesh together. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, and again, I can't find, oh, it's Imugi. It's Imugi. See, there you go. The big thing that I love about this is, do you see the shape? I mean, this is a little bit more curved than I would like it to be, but you can kind of see the swing of that armor piece coming up to the front, and now he's got like these feet pads that can like skewer people. So I'm kind of into that. It's like useful, but also very pretty at the same time. Another one that I definitely enjoyed was the Kukiri, and it was very spiky, and I kind of like that. And when you're pairing it, I know I should mix up the Signas, but I tried the other ones and they were nice, but I felt like this one was kind of the best. And, you know, with all the little bubbles that flow up from it, and then all of the little leaves that flow up from the side, I know that they're not the same texture, but I kind of love that feeling of it. And I mean, if you colored it right, you can make it look like it's like bubbling gasoline, you know, depending on your theme specifically. But for me, this was really the one that I ended up liking. The other one that I did want to point out as well is the Katir, but you kind of got to mess with this one a little bit. I like the Katir one. I don't love how that's like almost like ribbony, because it's like, it looks like a solid metal. But you kind of gotta mess around with it, because the Foros is nice, but I don't think it's the greatest, and it kind of like hangs off in like a strange way. But the weirdest one is gonna be that one, is the regular chest plate. But I think if you play around with which different ones you use, it can actually look really nice, because I do quite like the, where is it? It's just like the little fucking triangle thing. The little triangle thing that he has. I think it's nice and simple. It also goes for the It's All one too. There is an It's All one that is nice. See, just that little, it's just that. Oh, that's the It's All point. But I'm talking about this one, this Katir one. I like how it's just very simple. It's just there. It's not too obtrusive. So you guys can play around with those ones. I really enjoyed. I don't know if there was anything else that like really stood out to me aside from the Sorex one that we just took a look at. I tried the TennoGen ones. I wasn't very fond of those ones. And then I think the Katir one I liked was this one. I think I like that little diamond shape because it's not too obtrusive. The other ones are fine, but not necessarily. I feel like that's the winner. Anyway, so while we're here, let's go ahead and show him and his. Oh, I also tried the Avia. I don't like the chest plate, but I do like the way that the shoulders look on there. Just in case you want to make him like almost mercurial, as like some sort of like winged warrior kind of thing going on, which I'm definitely into. But specifically for this look, the reason why I like the DOP is because of the fact that it looks like a little wolf, and maybe his face isn't as fox-like as this one, but it's, at worst comes to worst, it just feels like he's got a fox head, and then he's got the little kitsune. What do you call this? He's got the little kitsune tails coming out of the back. I know, I'm a little bit of a weirdo, but that is definitely my favorite from that. I want to just close this out so that you guys don't have to like stare at just like half forever. Okay, I'll do it. Okay, so that is the final look with the kind of kitsune themed forest feeling. We'll put him in red line real quick. Oh, so cute, so beautiful. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and swap over real fast into the unprimed variants. But before we do, let's go ahead and take a look. And I'm gonna actually drop the chest because I think the chest is a little distracting for this portion. We're gonna take a look at the helmets that we feel could work. And I'm actually surprised because I feel like a majority of the helmets can already work. So, of course, you guys know this is the Blazer Gaze, which I'm not a very big fan of. Let's go ahead and redline that real quick so you can see how it looks. I don't know if it's maybe just specifically my coloration, but I don't love the way that it sits on the helmet. But let's look at the original. The original kind of looks all right. On it because the original did have the double metallics. So you'll notice the Gauss Mag one too looks pretty good on him. Even the Grax, no, the Grax is okay. The Grax is okay. I can see an argument for the Grax. The only ones that I don't really love on it, oh, you know what? The Kresnik doesn't look, I was expecting the Kresnik to look worse, but the Kresnik actually kind of fits too. The only thing that I don't like is that you've got the Kresnik with the wings, but you don't have any of the other energy effects on it. That's the only thing that kind of stands out there. The Agito is the only one that, while I like the look of it, it's just not metallic-y enough. And this one is a skin made by Reiku. So the issue with this one is he doesn't like to go as heavy into metallics when he does his stuff. So I feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect there. However, I mean, I think you could really make it work if you really wanted it to work. Now, let's go ahead and take a look into the D. This one, of course, is the Kresnik skin. I think I need to bring down the ephemera real quick, because the ephemera is doing a lot. The ephemera is doing a lot here. But of course, I love me. I don't know what it is about Gauss, but Gauss really makes me feel red. I really wanted something red on him, and I really enjoy kind of like smokier, lighter tones when it comes to his energy, which kind of goes completely against the following look that we're gonna be taking a look at. However, the Kresnik skin, the second I saw it, I was like, it is absolutely magnificent. It is beautiful. It looks, it really does remind me of like Mercury and the winged boots kind of thing. Look at the details down there. The only thing that kind of weirds me out is I think there's a face on his crotch. I don't know if you see it, but it looks like a little lizard face. Like there's two eyes, there's the nose, there's the mouth portion. It's just a little weird. And I cannot unsee it. But aside from that, I think this one is an absolutely amazing skin. I was using, so it does have a Sayandana that comes along with it, which I actually don't love all that much, the bolide Sayandana. Nothing kind of like necessarily matches the, what is it called? Nothing necessarily matches specifically his energy effect. So if I equip it and I redline, nothing comes out of it. Like they could have added some sort of detail that's kind of tied in with that. Say hello to the kitty. Hello, Kepler. He's starting trouble right next to me. So I'm going to get you down. There's nothing that ties it in with the Kresnik skin as much as I would like it to. But if you did want to try something that isn't the Ephysium Sayandana, wait, did something just happen? I like just talked about it not doing anything. Am I crazy? Maybe I'm crazy. I think I'm going crazy. Okay. Aside from, you know, our favorite Ephysium, aside from that one, which I think is a classic and just basically works on everything, the other one that I was taking a look at it with is the Bennu Sayandana, which I believe it's one of the few ones that I actually remember the name of, if I can actually find it. Oh my god, there it is. It's right next to it. If you tweak the colors just right, it actually works really well from it. This was from, I believe, a Ember Deluxe skin. There's no additional effects that come out of it that make it feel any cooler, but I really did kind of enjoy the way it mimics the wings on his head. But we're going to stick with the classic, and we're going to go with the Ephysium. So there is that for the Kresnik skin. Let's go ahead and move into this look. So I was talking about how I like smoky energy, and you know what? Sometimes you do different things for different skins, and this one. Here's the thing. Number one, this reminds me of a very specific Monster Hunter. Monster, which is white and also has like the red energy effects to it. So for those of you guys who are unaware, this is the Gauss Agito skin. This one, of course, is done by Mr. Reiku. Doesn't lean heavy into the metallics, but the texturing is always quite nice, and it's always very like, oh my god, I'm Senshi? Not Gaijin. It's, you know what I'm talking about. It kind of just reminds you of all like the Ultraman kind of like old Japanesey style stuff. He does a great job on it. This is it redlined. Now, as you can see, I do have the what do you call this? The TennoGen armors on it. I really wanted to give the full effect of how this looked with the armors. It still looks good without it, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, but if you are going to be using the TennoGen armors, just keep in mind that the texture is slightly different on the armoring as it is on the actual body, so your colors might come off just a little bit different on that. However, I do feel like because of the fact that this is kind of very, like, retro Japan. I don't even know if it's retro. It could even be like futuristic Japan inspired, or very tech inspired. This is where I like to go very simple on the body, little splashes of color, then very heavy on the energy effects. And this is the Protovire ephemera, just in case you wanted. I also wanted to toss a Signa on this, but I felt like we were gonna stick with the same thing because the Kyros, the plating on the Kyros signed on a Signa just looks the best on it. So we'll equip it for now. We'll do a little rotation. You guys can be the judge of that. There is a reason I did not want to, I didn't want to override another look with this look because I love this look so much. Now the last and the simplest look that we're going to be taking a look at today is, of course, is going to be the old classic, Mr. Gauss Grax by, oh my god, I'm going to mess up the name. It's been so long, Faven. I was gonna put, like, I don't know why I felt like I might have been in some sort of, like, Renaissance fair. I was gonna call him Mr. Farragon. There is the Gauss Grax with a little bit of a red line effect. Now, the reason I like this Grax, or this skin specifically, it is the simplest of all of the skins. However, he goes from looking very agile, like, you know, whenever you take a look at one of his looks, like, especially the Kresnik, it's very agile, right? It's very quick, but this looks more like he is here to brawl. So, like I was saying earlier when we talk about different types of armor pieces and attachments, I really like to add on things that change the silhouette of the Warframe, and I really felt that the Saturn 6 worked really well to kind of round him out, make him more bulbous, to kind of like match the bulbousness of his head, and to make him look a little bit more brawly. I even foregoed the Officium Cyandana and put on the Saturn 6 because if you see the profile from the side, let's see, it's very bulby. It's very bulby, and I was like, gotta go with that theme. Now, what we are going to do real quick, which I forgot to do with the previous ones, I'm actually going to go ahead and take off the armor real fast, and we're going to go ahead and try out the prime attachments, because as you guys know, when it comes down to the when it comes down to TennoGen armors, you can actually go ahead and swap them in. But I will say one thing, I did not like them on any of the TennoGen sets. Like, this looks okay, but I feel like it kind of fights against what the Grax is already doing. I could probably get down with it, but the Grax, again, was just feeling so bulbous and so very rounded that this adds a little too much angularity for me. So at this point in time, I don't love it, but you know what? If you like it, do your thing. Oh, I gotta take the attachments off of this baby. All right, this is all just TennoCon 2002, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at how it looks on here. And I'm going to be honest with you, because of the fact that this one doesn't necessarily lean into a lot of metallics, the metallics come a little bit disconnected on this frame. So I don't personally think that it looks great, but again, I'm here to support your choices. You do what you want to do with it. I don't love it. I feel like it's a mech suit on top of a different type of mech suit. You know what I mean? Like, the two mech suits don't quite jive. But that is just me. Again, do whatever the hell you want with your Warframe, because it is not mine. And then let's go ahead and we'll end this out with the first look of the day. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope that gave you kind of some insight on the way that I like to customize my frames. I hope that gave you some in-depth on how I feel about the armor types. Oh my god, wait. I have to show you one thing, though. I was like, I'm done, but I'm not done. All right. So, animation sets. The last little bit that I will touch on here. So, while I use the same animation set on all of them just so that you guys can kind of get a feel for it. But I did want to point out, I love the Zaku animation set on this, the noble one, because of the fact that he's twitchy. You know what I mean? It's like he's like running on something, right? And he's like, he wants to go, but he has to stay still. So that I really, really like that bit. I also really, I mean, we had to see that the Ninja would work perfectly on there, right? We are all very, very aware. There's some easy go-tos, like if you ever use the Zephyr one or the Limbo one. But the one that I really love, and for some reason it is particularly with this skin, you can try it on the other skins, and it looks fine, but is it me? Is it me, or is this, does that just not feel right? Because it feels right to me, and I hope it feels right to you. But I think that this is where we're going to go ahead and conclude our fashion frame for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed that full wardrobe set. Let me know down in the comments below if there's anything else that you guys are possibly looking for. It could be fashion frame. I don't really know if I want to discuss builds, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, because I think Warframe's at a point where you can kind of run anything. And the only thing that's really stopping you from succeeding is maybe just technical skill, and technical skill, I think, is something that you can develop. But for the most part, let me know how you guys feel down in the comments below of everything you've seen. Any ideas that you guys want me to run over, maybe some future dress to kills, or maybe some topical things. Toss that down there, and I'm going to go ahead and stop running my mouth. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.